Class 8. Today we are going to continue with the lesson 2, that is microorganism, friend and foe. In the previous class we have studied that microorganisms are classified into 5 major categories, that are bacteria, viruses, protozoa, fungi and algae. So let's begin our first topic, that is bacteria. Bacteria are very small single-celled microorganisms. I have told you in the previous class what are single cell. The microorganisms that are made up of one cell are known as single-celled microorganisms, which have cell wall but do not have an organized nucleus and other structures. Here I have shown you a diagram of cell. This is the cell wall. The outer covering of the cell is known as cell wall, which protect the cell. And this is the well organized nucleus, which is not present in the bacteria. Nucleus is present, but it is not organized in that bacteria cell. Bacteria are found in large numbers everywhere, in air also, soil, water, every surface around us, on our bodies and even inside our bodies. Means bacteria are present everywhere in the atmosphere, whether they are out from our body or whether they are inside in our body. Bacteria are larger than viruses but still very small. As compared to the size of viruses, they are enlarged. Bacteria are enlarged, but still they are very small, that we cannot see them with our naked eyes. Unlike viruses, bacteria feed, move and respire as well as reproduce on their own. Bacteria feed also, they can move also, they can respire also, as well as they reproduce on their own kind. Means they can give birth to their own kind. There are mainly 3 groups of bacteria on the basis of their shape. They are divided into 3 groups. Bacteria are divided mainly in 3 groups on the basis of their body shape. What shape they are? Spherical bacteria, rod-shaped bacteria and spiral bacteria. Spiral means घुमा हुआ. As you can see, I have drawn the shape of the bacteria that are categorized. This is the spherical, rod shape and spiral. In these 3 shapes, the bacteria are mainly divided: spherical, rod shaped and spiral. The 2 common examples of bacteria are lactobacillus bacteria and rhizobium bacteria. Rhizobium bacteria that you have studied in the previous chapter, that are present in the leguminous plant. Rhizobium bacteria, which fix the nitrogen from air to the soil. And lactobacillus bacteria, it is present in the curd, which changes the milk into the curd. So lactobacillus, which changes milk into curd, and rhizobium, which changes atmospheric nitrogen into nitrogen compound to make the soil fertile. Some of the bacteria are useful and helpful in making food, like curd, nitrogen fixation and decomposition of waste organic matter. So these are the useful bacteria. On the other hand, some of the bacteria causes disease, and some bacteria that are harmful for us, they cause disease. Some of the human disease caused by bacteria are, which disease caused by bacteria in humans? Now see, cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis, which is known as TB, diphtheria, whooping cough and food poisoning. These all, diarrhea, whooping cough, food poisoning, typhoid, these all are disease caused by bacteria. Now our next topic is viruses. Viruses are the smallest microorganism which can develop only inside the cell of the host organism. Host organism, because they cannot live, they cannot prepare their own food, that's why they live in the host body. Understood? Which may be host body, which may animal, plant or bacterium, other bacteria. Viruses live inside the plant, animal or other bacterium. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria, means as compared to bacteria they are very small in size. Who are very small in size? Viruses. As compared to bacteria, viruses are very small in size. Viruses do not show most of the characteristic of living things. For example, viruses do not respire, do not feed, do not grow, do not excrete, or do not move on their own. They need a body to move. Means they need a host body to move. Like nowadays you are just heard about the COVID-19, that is coronavirus. So it need a host body in the contact of another body to move. It cannot move there on their own. They need the host, another host body to move from one body to another. So now it is clear that viruses do not respire, do not feed, means they do not prepare their food, do not grow, do not excrete, and do not move their own. They just reproduce, but they reproduce. Viruses are able to reproduce if they enter a living cell. When they reproduce, if they enter in a living cell. That is, viruses can reproduce and multiply only inside the cell of other organism. How they can reproduce? They can reproduce only in the living cell and they get multiply only inside the cell of other organism. Means if they enter in the other organism body, only then they get multiplied. Thus, as long as viruses are outside the living cell, they behave as non-living things. Means if the virus is not getting the host body or not getting the living cell, they are as behave as non-living things. But as soon as the viruses enter the living cell of the other organism, if they get entered in the living cell of other organism, what happen? They start behaving as a living thing. When they do not have living cell of organism, they act as a non-living thing. If they get the body and get enter in the living cell, then they start behaving as a living things by carrying out the process of reproduction. How they show that they are living thing? By carry out the process of reproduction. Due to this reason, viruses are said to lie on the border line dividing the living things from non-living things. That's why viruses are said that they are borderline of dividing the characteristic of living and non-living things. Only they show, because only they show the reproduction. That's why they are known as the border line of living, dividing the living things character from non-living things. Viruses are the agent of diseases. Viruses are the agent of diseases. Viruses cause a variety of diseases in humans, beings, other animals and plant. Viruses cause variety of diseases in human beings, other animals and as well as plant also. The human disease such as common cold, influenza, that is called as flu also, malaria, polio, chickenpox, smallpox, all these diseases are caused by virus. The two example of viruses are common cold virus and human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Common cold virus cause common cold disease, whereas HIV means human immunodeficiency virus cause AIDS disease. AIDS stand for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. What is acquired immune deficiency syndrome? Disease caused by virus cannot be treated with antibiotics. Means if the disease is caused by a viruses, it cannot be treated by giving a patient antibiotics. Understood? They need the proper treatment. We cannot do their treatment by giving them antibiotics. So this is all for today. Our next heading is protozoa, that we will go through in the next class, class 8. Have a nice day. Please do a good revision. Bye bye.